Hello, and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. In the last number of videos, I've been looking at things like plants and flowers, like flowers, and formal gardens and painting flowers and horses and the appearance of mechanized farm implements and tractors, for example. And what had been something that had been for maybe close to 2,000 years, maybe more, of man having horses or oxen or mules to help them farm, that was changing. Next video, I want to share something about a man who sees that it's the man working with horses is not continuing to decline. It's maybe been at times little upswings, and so that's next time. But this time, I want to share two poems by a man that was born in Maine and grew up on a small farm close to the ocean, and has a knowledge of this transition that's been happening. This first poem's called Last Load. July leaned his white and thundering head high over the high last hayrack going in. The wheels, the horses' tails were lost in sweet. On the edge of the world was the low thundering. The boys were flattened pants on a moving world. The farmer stood wet bronze in clean clothes. This was the year's last load, and on the gold between his feet lay the branch of pink wild rose. Great-grandfather's father put the rose there first. The blossoms had crowned each last load since his day. There's no reasoning a habit like this one out. Like use making love like men. Things were this way. Though wits, if wits worked hard, could work it out. Hay, to be housed its thrifty sweetest, must be in before the last wild briar rose had shed and was a cup of golden dust. It might be this would be the last rose there, and this the last load of last loads for good. The farmer was deep winter on his hair. The farm was being crowded by wild wood. Boys were looking downwards, and machines were pushing horses and hand farming. So a year might see kingdoms of sentiment crumbling like all kingdoms of long ago. So if you think of some of the different civilizations and things that reached pinnacles and then had a falling off, well, certainly it seemed like that, because here he was doing what had been done before with a hay rack. The hay would have to be pitched up, and there'd be a man up there who would take and repitch it to place it and try to balance it and steady it so that it would be overlapping and able to not slide off, and going up the last little slope into the barn. And so it was a skill involved. And I can see why, baling hay and having a bale to handle like bricks, and you can put a hay fork into that and haul it up and put it into the rafter area and stack it all neat rather than loose hay, because once they got inside they had to then pitch it up as well. It was a big undertaking and a big project, and neat to know. I never knew about how they could time when to do this, but they used the wild briar rose as their indicator. The other poem is called Hay Log. Out here in this old barn is family history, more telling than boughs upon a family tree, which tell what lusty man begat which offspring. This is a century of sweet certainty. These figures on the beam told up the total of loads of hay hauled in each sweet July. In these no good, no bad years could be hidden, any more than rings of years in trees could lie. Words can deceive, and pride may cover trouble, but here's a ledger of the truthful years, a log of russet timothy, red clover, of slender heifers, and the wide-faced steers. These chronicles tell what years had the iron, what years had the silver spoons in the mouth. Here are the years of good rains and the whistling. Here are the years of headaches and the drouth. Where these figures swell upon the timber, the farmer's circle widened by a sun. Here, where the summer's figures start to dwindle, the farm boys started leaving, one by one. These shrinking numbers sadly tell the story of debts, of trees closing in on every side. This blank space is as solemn as a tombstone. Here the figures cease. The family died. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.